watching West Hartford Community TV.
She's a talk show host with style. She's a talk show host with flair. And she struts around the town from Koopman to the center. West Hartford is her game. Get to know her if you dare. Where in West Hartford is Adele Clark? Tell me where in West Hartford is Adele Clark?
Hello and welcome to What's Happening West Hartford. I have an amazing show today. I am absolutely honored to have these two in the studio. I have Nathan and Michaela. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. They're here and they're part of Unified Theater, which was started in West Hartford. Michaela is the founder of it. Michaela, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am a proud graduate of Conard High School in West Hartford, and while I was at Conard, I started a club there that I called Unified Theater. I have a cousin with really significant disabilities, and I was a theater kid since my days at Wolcott, and so bringing the two together seemed like a really obvious fit to do inclusion and have it be entirely student-led and bring kids with and without disabilities together through the arts. And little did I know that 11 years later it would be my full-time job and have people like Nathan serving on our board and growing and serving 50 schools across the country. So
it's a national organization.
Started right here.
That's amazing. Now, you're part of the board, but did you partake in high school?
Absolutely. So I started in 2004 as a participant, and then I became a student leader in 2006. It was an amazing
One
experience.
of our best students.
It was an amazing experience just to be a part of it and be a part of the process, just because we don't focus on the final product as much as we do the process, because that process is then reflected into the school and real collaboration and just a creative outlet.
Yeah, big difference between unified theater versus unified sports.
We talked to Unified Sports a lot about the fact that, what they started, we're trying to take to the next level, which is to say they were the first people to do recreational inclusion, and we really value that they were, leading that movement long before we even existed. What we're trying to do in Unified Theater is next generation inclusion, which is to say you can do inclusion without any labels, you can do it with a focus on ability, you can do it where kids with and without disabilities are served completely equally, both in what they bring and what they get out of it. And so I think that the inclusion space is evolving, and we hope that we're part of that dialogue forward.
Sure. And now, how do you involve the community in this?
The community takes a big part in it, just because they're our biggest supporters when it comes to, going to the programs that we have in the school system, and also in what they can donate. So donations are huge, and there are, subsets of what your donations can go to.
Sure. And I'm sure you've seen people want to pursue something in theater or, working with special needs students. Do you see people wanting to pursue that after high school?
Absolutely. We do an assessment at the end of the year where we ask kids, how this affected their long-term career aspirations, and we see a lot of future theater teachers, a ton of special educators. One of the most interesting things I heard is a kid last year who said Unified Theater made him want to be an engineer because we found ways to solve problems that a lot of people don't know how to solve. And so I think this idea of 21st century learning skills and teaching kids how to think critically and address the problems in their community and work collaboratively and not just work on a one track but get to experience a lot of different things is hugely powerful.
Now, you say it's national. Do you travel?
I spend a lot of time on the road, which is exciting and somewhat exhausting. My friends and family are like, so where are you today? But it's great. I love it. And it's, I feel like in many ways I'm growing a company, but I think also I'm hopefully an evangelist for inclusion. So wherever I go to talk to people about this idea of inclusion and how to focus on inclusion in an ability-centered way, how to infuse inclusion into the way companies are managed, into schools, into other organizations and what they're doing. So that's a really exciting opportunity for me and for Unified.
Right. Sure. And now, why did you start Unified Theater?
So Kelsey, it really, we talk about the Kelsey effect. Kelsey is my cousin. She and I were born 3 months apart, and she and I grew up together. And I think, and this really defines our view of inclusion at Unified Theater as well, is that, while Kelsey is special because everyone is special, it was never this real oh, little cute Kelsey, let's, help her. It was always like, all right, Kelsey, come on, you're like any of us, and you're coming to the amusement park, and you're coming on the boat, and it was just a part of our family, and it was just so normal. Working with someone with a disability isn't a chore, and it's not something that should be out of the norm. It's something that can be enriching and something that can be totally infused into life everywhere. Yeah.
Now, I know that you, since we were talking about you traveling, you just got back from the White House.
Yeah.
Please tell me about that.
So I'm a part of a community for the World Economic Forum called Global Shapers, and they're under 30 leaders with focus on entrepreneurship, leadership, and social impact. A couple of us actually like 50 of us from the North America hubs all went down to the White House for a summit on millennial impact. For Unified, what was so exciting, and I was just saying this to Nathan, is that we are like so at the cutting edge of everything that's in the national dialogue right now. So whether it be 21st century learning skills, yep, we're doing it. Whether it be creating more inclusive society, yep, we're there too. Whether it be incorporating the arts into how we educate our kids and no longer having kids so focused on just testing in one thing, but giving kids that creative idea, we're there too. Redefining special education, oh, we're there too. Leadership development. So it's really exciting to see that Unified Theater is totally poised to grow with national priorities.
Yes, which is great. Now, what do you do with the community right now?
It all depends on what our focus is currently, and our focus right now is currently on our Spotlight annual event.
Okay.
And we keep saying Spotlight, and Spotlight on Ability is our slogan. It's what we focus on, and it's focusing on true collaboration and what everyone has to bring to the table, because everyone has something different to offer.
Sure.
And really opening a creative outlet.
Where do you see yourself in 15 years with this company? Like, what is your pictured goal that you want this Unified Theater to come into?
So I hope that Unified Theater will continue to, we have 6 different states that we work in, and I hope that all of those communities will become like the greater Hartford community, so it's not just 1 or 2 schools, but within this area we have almost 30 schools.
Sure.
So we'll have these hubs of programs all around the country. But I guess even more so, I hope that Unified Theater, when I think beyond 15 years, I hope that Unified Theater won't need to be so special. So I hope that that will just be the norm, that schools will just automatically implement programs like this that are driven by students, that are focused on inclusion, that are rooted in the needs and the interests of the community that they represent. And so, I don't see us going out of business in 15 years, but hey,
getting bigger.
If schools, do this naturally, maybe someday we won't have to exist anymore because everything is unified.
Yeah, there are so many social facets that we need to help bring to the table, and just be able to talk about and collaborate, and it just be natural. We're trying to make it an organic feel, and not anything that's forced upon anyone.
Right, and I don't think this is something that you would have to force upon anybody. I think it's such a great concept that you've come up with, and I seriously hope that everybody can be a part of it. And you've done such a great job already. You've turned it into a national organization out of West Hartford, which is amazing. So thank you, Nathan, and thank you, Michaela, for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back. This is going to be exciting. I hope everybody's ready. I have Jacob here from the Wise Old Dog. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
We are going to, as you see, have a little wine tasting, which should be pretty exciting. But let's just start off. Jacob, tell me how you got started in the wine industry.
I originally moved up to Connecticut for law school and practiced law for a couple years before, to put it bluntly, deciding to drink for a living. So following my passion there with food and wine.
We have 3 wines that Jacob brought in. Tell me a little bit about the wines and the ones that we're tasting.
These represent Martin Scott Wines today provided us with these, and we have these available at the store. Masciarelli is actually a rather big house. In fact, although you don't see certified organic on these bottles because they haven't paid for the certification, it's actually the largest organic winery in Italy, which is cool. We brought 3 varietals. These are all from Abruzzo, which is in central Italy. It's a white, a rosé, and a red.
Okay.
And the reason we brought these was that last night, which is sort of why we started our little store on South Quaker, my wife was making this pasta. I was going to be late coming home from the store, and she said, bring me a wine home so we can have it with our dinner. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, what are we having, this and that? And I realized, as I was preparing for your show today, that any one of these wines would go super well with our dish from last night.
Okay.
So in full confession, this is my second go around with this tasting. My wife and I took this for a trial run last night, and it's at very least tasty. So,
Okay.
do you want to take a sip of the first one
I
and
would
sort of,
love to.
without further ado, right?
So this is what kind?
This is 100% Trebbiano. It's a white grape. Yeah, Trebbiano. Kind of fun to say. It's easy to remember. It's right on the label. And it's a white grape from Italy. If you love Pinot Grigio and Sauvignon Blanc and you can't decide between the two, this kind of splits the
Gives you
baby,
the
which
happy
is, yeah.
medium, which
So
I like Pinot Grigio, so.
We must toast. Cheers.
Okay,
All right.
cheers to what's happening and the wise old dog.
Cheers. Oh,
Amazing.
not great.
Love it. It's nice
So-
and light.
Right, light, fresh. You could call that a patio pounder if you wanted to. You know, you don't need any food with it, but it certainly works well with lighter fare, either a citrusy pasta or a salad. The next up, this is a rosé, and there's all different ways to make rosé, but the easiest way to think about it is usually when you bite into a red grape, right?
Okay.
The center of a red grape is still clear.
Okay.
So the only way that you can make a wine red, almost always, there's a couple exceptions, is to have it sit in contact with the skins for a very brief amount of time.
So the flavor stays within the
Exactly,
wine.
right. So what you have here is this is made from a red grape. In fact, it's made from the Montepulciano, same grape, but it just doesn't stay with the skins as long. Doesn't impart as much
alright.
flavor. So these are going to be markedly different, right?
Okay.
And this is nice. You know, again, summertime, sometimes you just want to go sit on the terrace and drink a bottle of wine. You don't need to have food with it. But what's nice about this is it'll go great with this if you had a little pork or a little chicken and something that might overpower your white wine. You can kind of turn up the volume a little bit
Okay.
and go to the sort of the next richest.
When I think of rosé, though, I think of very sweet.
Right. You and I are the same vintage as long as we're talking about wine. And if I say to most people, and I say this all the time at the store, what's your favorite flavor lifesaver? They say red. Now, red is not a flavor, it's a color, okay? It's cherry, okay?
juice.
It's cherry, right? But the problem, or the reason, you should say, right, is that we think of, you know, pink or red as sweet.
Yes.
And so my wife and I frequently laugh because, of course, we drink loads of rosé, actually year-round, although it's very popular in the summertime. We even say, you know, I look at this, and all I do with my life is wine, and I'm looking at this, and I'm going, my mind is going, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be sweet, right? Even pink
100%.
lemonade is sweeter than regular, right? And it's not. It's going to be fruit-forward. It's going to be rich. Cheers.
Cheers.
Round two.
Round two.
Right?
Not sweet at all.
Not sweet, but fruit-forward, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Raspberries, maybe. Strawberries,
Strawberries, I taste.
but then dry.
Yes.
Really nice and
Which
dry
is
on the
not
palate.
what I expected
And
at all.
and the thing about wine is, although we drink sweeter wines at home and people love sweet wines and they're easy to drink, in the summertime and with food, that sweetness, it's like when you crave the Coca-Cola.
Yes.
And when you're done drinking it, you're still thirsty because it's that sweetness is like,
Leaves that
I want to,
taste.
right? This, what's nice is that sweetness is rolled down. So it actually is refreshing and it doesn't overpower your food,
Yes.
but still has that fruit forward. Yeah.
Flavor. Now, would this be something, I taste this and I think sangria in the summer. Could you use that as like a sangria wine
Absolutely.
if you wanted to?
And the nice thing about all of these, and a frequent joke with customers is, here, these are inexpensive organic wines. You don't have to be precious about how you consume them. If you want to make a lovely spritzer, you could drop a couple ice cubes and a squeeze of lemon. If you want to make a nice pink sangria, this is particularly well suited for that because it's a fairly rich rosé, right? You still feel it, right? It's still still in your mouth, and that would make a great sort of pink. And then what's nice is you can turn up or turn down the sugar
Which is
as you
nice.
see fit, as
Of
opposed
course.
to having to worry about, you know, what did the winemaker do?
Yeah, I think I made a sangria from your store, and it was, you gave me this organic liquor, like a fruit liquor to put in it.
Yeah.
amazing to go with it.
The
It was
Mathilde.
Yes,
That's
that's
fabulous.
exactly
Oh,
what it is,
it's
and
wonderful.
it's the perfect mix. It was never too heavy, too sweet, or
Right.
anything. So this one seems like it would be a good mix.
Yeah, when you have sugar, you want to have flavor. You don't want just a blank sweetness. So it's nice. That's, you get your strawberries and raspberry flavor, but it's going to finish dry. And then if you want to sweeten it up, something that's wonderful with that as a spritzer is like the San Pellegrino Limonada.
Sure.
Right?
Oh,
Just
that
a
would be
lemon soda
perfect.
or Sprite. It doesn't have to be fancy. Really nice.
Yeah, I'm simple. Give me the Sprite. Now, how did you come up with the Wise Old Dog as the name of your store?
Well, I was still practicing law, and I had called my wife. When you are a young associate, you always work Saturday mornings, or at least I got talked into it. And I'm sitting there, and when I went into the office and, nobody was there, I got to bring the dog. And I was on the phone with my wife, and I said, I think I'm going to stop practicing law and open a wine store. And she said, okay. So big pause there. And I said, I just want to be as happy. Like our wise old dog here is chewing on a...
Bam.
Okay. As we joked around before, it hit me like a ton of grapes, right? So that was like, I gotta do it. So
Perfect.
that was that.
I love
So let's
it.
cheers.
Cheers.
Then we gotta get into this food.
Yes,
right? We
I'm
don't wanna run
ready.
out of
Oh, I'm
time.
so excited. Oh my gosh, I love all these wines. They're
Yeah.
so not too heavy. I like for red, I am more of a Pinot Noir. I like the
Yep.
lighter bodied
Exactly.
wines, but I mean, this one.
And the truth is that with Montepulciano, it can be done in a lot of styles. This is a nice light one. Pizza night, totally.
Perfect. It's a great
Inexpensive,
mix.
organic, delicious, and not your run-of-the-mill wine that you always see.
Yes.
Want to take a bite?
All right,
We'll see how
taking a
this works
bite.
with food.
Now, tell me about the labels. I noticed the labels are kind of like peeling off.
They
those-
are. Oh, I'm talking my mouth full. How rude.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's a fruit show. The deal with these labels on the red and the white, Martin Scott's warehouse down in New Jersey was pretty hard hit during Sandy.
Okay.
And of course, any wine, any actual juice, as we would call it, right, that was compromised, of course, we wouldn't be able to offer. They would claim insurance or what have you.
Of course.
But aesthetically, especially for restaurants, if they're pouring this by the glass, you never even see the bottle. And so what happened is these arrived actually today at a wonderfully serious discount, which is really, really great. And we're just basically going to say, listen, if you're having a party and you want to pour some
Perfect
great
time of
wine
year.
for half price kind of thing, go for it. And so that's what we're doing here. It's also our little part of saying to a distributor that's otherwise saying, oh, geez, I got all this wine, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and saying, hey, listen, we can't sell it for full price because it doesn't look perfect, right? But we up here in Connecticut were really like much lighter hit than those folks in that New York, New Jersey area.
And they still need to sell the
They
products.
still need to move the wine, and we're happy to help them with it because it's really wonderful.
Yay.
So now with that pasta fresh in your mouth, see how these go with...
Okay, I'm sure it's going to
I think we're going to, and we might just free for all right now. We
Yeah.
might just go crazy. I don't know.
That works
You have
for
two
me.
hands, two glasses?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's double fist it. It's so interesting how eating food and tasting the wine, it totally changes the flavor.
Totally.
Completely.
Right. Balanced,
So-
right? Light. But it
Yes.
just meets right up with that.
This is a perfect mix.
And just, we forgot to say, all we're eating is it's a boxed dry rigatoni. My wife was kind enough to cook this for us.
it tastes absolutely amazing.
We did some sweet peas and asparagus, I think parsley. It looks like she's got some Parmesan cheese and fresh ricotta on top. So
It's
Pretty-
so good.
yeah,
I can't even tell you.
pretty easy and tasty.
I'm going to leave this here for 1 second so they can
Yeah.
take a look at it.
Sure.
Now, this is the rosé.
This is a rosé, so we'll just
Let me-
one little bite of pasta.
Steal another bite. I can probably eat this whole thing right now.
That's good. I brought it for you. I might just join you in eating that whole thing.
It's fair enough.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So here's the rosé, and
So good.
right with the cheese.
Amazing.
Holy smokes!
Delightful. Oh my goodness.
And lastly, I'll just mention this red, because this is a lighter style Italian red. Something that my wife and I frequently do at the house, and I do it for customers as well occasionally, put a slight chill on it. You know, I know we drink whites and rosés cold. We don't think about red as a cold wine. I wouldn't put that in the ice box for 2 hours. I wouldn't drink it ice cold.
Sure.
But it's hot out. You know, today it's 80 degrees. So if you want to drink some red wine and you're having a little bit of pork or maybe even a light steak with this kind, you know, chill it down, and it's really refreshing. You know, as you said before with the sangria, there's no rules. Just lighten up.
You're
you know?
drinking it.
Have fun.
You
It's
drink
your
it how
bottle.
you wanna drink
It's
it,
your
right?
bottle, you know?
Now, going forward, summertime, what do you think the best summertime beverages in your eyes?
Well, apropos what I just said about the cold red wine, I like things chilled.
Okay.
I tend to start to steer away from super heavy things. Although that said, there's something about a Guinness after mowing the lawn that I'm kind of in for.
And for those of you that don't know, Guinness is the least calorie beer.
That's right after Coors Light, Miller Lite, yeah, all those
Number
super
one.
lights.
I
Yep.
didn't. It's such a, and it seems like such a heavy beer,
Yep.
but little do you know.
That draft is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cheers. Last
Cheers.
one.
Yum.
Wow.
Yeah. And especially with this one, right? Doesn't that cheese kind of round out the
It does. The ricotta just came out to me.
yum?
It's incredible. I can't even tell you how
So-
it just changes.
So I just want to confirm, even when the taping is done, we can still eat and drink, right? It's not going to
yes,
end there. Okay,
party.
good.
I wish everyone was here
Yeah,
joining
really.
us. 'Cause, this is amazing. And this is what you can do anytime that you go and visit Jacob. I mean, I went in there. It's my neighborhood little spot. Don't tell anybody. I don't want anyone finding me there. But that is where I go. So you'll
We have a lot of fun.
definitely, I mean, going from a lawyer to doing this, I envy you.
Yeah, well, there's not somebody in town who has more fun. Let's put it that way. I love what we
amazing.
do. So
Well, thank you for being here, Jacob.
My
I
pleasure.
Had so much fun.
of course,
Please check him out and see what he has to offer over at the Wise Old Dog.
awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Hello, and we're back. Susan is here in the studio. I'd like to welcome Susan to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Susan is from the Jewish Federation. It's the Koopman Library. And funny short story how I met Susan. We were in Michael's and I was making this sign. I was getting the letters to create my little background. And she was asking me what I was doing, and we talked for a couple minutes, and then long story short, she's here in the studio now. So it's always nice to run into people at the grocery store. You never know who you're running into. So
Absolutely.
it's nice.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me a little bit about the Koopman Library and yourself and what we have in front of us.
So the Koopman Library is a bit of a hidden gem. We are located in the Mandel JCC. You kind of have to walk around the gallery, and we're a wonderful little library. You can even bring in a cup of coffee, a little croissant.
Love
There's
that.
a Cafe J right around the corner. Bring in some food, you're all set. We have DVDs. We have books for children, books for adults, fiction. We have the whole gambit, books on CD. We even just purchased 2 Kindles. They're Kindle Touches.
Ooh.
And because this was a grant that was given to us from the Jewish Community Foundation, basically you come in and you say, I want this particular book. If we don't have it, I can load it up right then and there in one of our Kindles.
It's amazing. So do you have to be a member of the JCC in order to go to the Koopman Library?
No, you just have to just be part of the community in general and come on in, and we will get all your information and we'll have you sign a little contract that
Okay.
mortgages your house. No, I'm just joking. But basically, yeah, you get it for 3 weeks, and both our Kindles are out right now. They're very popular.
I'm sure, because it's nice. You'll be able to rent it for 3 weeks, and it has the books. There's already books loaded, and
There's about 10 of them on there currently.
oh, so that's fun.
We have Unorthodox, we have the things we cherished. We have a bunch of books on there.
Okay, now what makes this Koopman Library different than the average public library that we have in West Hartford Center?
That's a good question. Well, we're also a very strong teacher resource. We have a machine called the Ellison die cut machine.
Okay.
And you can bring in your own paper.
Okay.
You can bring in felt. You can bring in that 3D paper with the sticky
Right,
back.
yes.
You can make cute little frogs. We have the Hebrew alphabet, the English alphabet.
Okay.
I actually made you a little
yes,
present.
I love, which I'm so excited for. My kids will have fun with this, or I can hang this on my door, or even here on set, so everybody knows who I am. I have a new little sign.
You might want to use a ruler. I don't think I did it quite straight, but it's not
I'm
bad.
happy. It doesn't matter. My sign is off. I am all about having fun.
Good
So
to
you made
go.
this for?
I did. I whipped that out in a couple of minutes, and the letters take a second to make. And again, felt will go through that. Quite a few different materials. It's free to use. We just ask you to bring your own paper. I made this as well as a little gift for you. We had an old book that was falling apart, and it was very sad. So rather than just recycle it, I actually took some of the pages and made bookmarks. So if you can see this,
That's so fun.
I actually highlighted a couple of words so I could kind of make a spontaneous haiku.
I love it.
So it sort of works. Presumably there has been no discussion over good intentions. So it's a thought-provoking idea.
I like it. A little creativity over here. Now also you carry kids' books as well.
Right, we do have a nice assortment over here, and we have some wonderful movies. For instance, I didn't actually bring it because it's very popular, but we put out a new materials list with colored pictures and little snippets of information on
Okay.
each item. So 2 DVDs that are brand new. One is called A Bottle in the Gaza Sea.
Okay.
That was showcased at the film festival.
Right, which we had here. So that was one of the books, that's one of the DVDs that you carry.
We do. We just got it in. The other one is a very interesting film called The Other Son. It's
Yes.
based on the true story of 2 men who were born into families and were switched at birth by accident. One was a Palestinian that was raised in a Jewish home, and the other way
Wow.
around. And they're meeting as 18-year-olds. So I've heard very good things about it.
I think I'm going to have to come in and rent that and let everyone know how good it is, because I've heard great reviews of that movie. Now also, there's great motivational books that you said that you have as well.
We do. All of our books and movies have some sort of Jewish hint to them, but our
Okay.
leadership books don't actually, though that one happens too.
Of course, I pick up the one that does. I think there's a woman's book here as well.
Absolutely, but we have a lot of leadership books. The Jewish Federation's Koopman Library, we're also part of CJEL, which is the Commission on Jewish Education and Leadership. And leadership, that L, is a big part of what we do.
I think this was one of the bags that has the little logo on here, which is really nice.
That's from our, yes, it has the CJEL on there. We do a lot with Jewish educators. And Anna Elfenbaum, who's the director of this program, she ran this program for Jewish educators last year, and that's one of our little bags that
That's
I wanted
nice.
to
Little
get you
recycle
with.
bag.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I've got lots of gifts. Now, if for children, you go into JCC and you also read to all the kids at the preschool program there.
I do. There's an early childhood center down the hall, and I do 2 readings a week, and my
nice.
colleague does about 2 or 3 readings a week. So they're walking down the hall, they're waving to me. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. Now, in addition to all the children books, you also cater to seniors as well, you said.
We do. We have a number of large print books. We also have some books on CD for those that reading is difficult. It's also wonderful in the car. I mean, I listen to books on
books
CD.
on CD, which is nice.
Absolutely. We have some of the Hebrew Home and some of the other elderly facilities in the area have actually rented some of our DVDs and used them. And
Oh, that's
I can
nice.
always advise. Loving Leia was very popular. It was a Hallmark film.
Right. Okay,
So
yes.
that was very
That
popular.
was on the Hallmark channel, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this is a Jewish Film Festival movie from a couple years ago, Hello,
Goodbye. Yes.
So we have quite a few DVDs, and we're continuing to grow our collection.
Sure.
We also do a One Book, One Jewish Hartford once a year.
Once a year.
We just had our 3rd one. Pam Jenoff came out for The Things We Cherished. She was amazing, absolutely amazing.
So nice. Like a little question and answer.
Absolutely, and she
Great.
told about her process, and that was collaborating with the Mandel JCC and the Jewish Federation together.
Okay, so that's nice. You guys keep a little partnership with
Oh,
the JCC.
Absolutely.
And the Jewish
They've
Federation.
been incredible to us.
Wonderful.
It's sort of a whole campus there, so
Yeah.
it's great.
All stick together, but it's
Yes.
also open to everybody, which is
Yes.
great. So
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank Susan, and you can find her at the Koopman Library in the Jewish Federation, and you can get some fun books that she has to offer. Again, it's for everybody. You don't just have to have a membership at the JCC. You can come find her and see what she has to offer. So Thank you.
She's a talk show host with style.